Hi, I'm Andy Park. I'm the Director of Visual Development at Marvel Studios, and today I'm going to be drawing Black Widow. Black Widow is one of the first characters I got to draw and design when I first got hired by Charlie Wen and Reiner Meinerding back in 2010 to specifically work on the Avengers film. And that was like a dream call that I got from Charlie to work on a film that Joss Whedon is directing. I used to draw comic books for the first 10 years of my career, and I was specifically a Marvel Comics fan. So it was one of those things where I never thought there would be an Avengers film that we'd ever see on cinema. But once you saw the first Iron Man, you saw Nick Fury come out of the shadows, you kind of knew where they were going. So it was one of those like dream projects that I had to get on, but I didn't know if I would be able to. So when I got that call in 2010 to join the newly formed visual development team, I was like through the roof. So yeah, and then I got hired 2010, and I got to specifically design Black Widow and Hawkeye on the film. So, and then from there on, I've been there for about 8 years, and I've been able to design Black Widow on all the films that she's appeared in. So she definitely has a special place in my heart. And you know, she's awesome to paint and to draw. But for this demo, I'm gonna be doing Black Widow, and it's loosely based on her, but I'm not gonna try to get a likeness, because if I'm gonna do that, usually I have reference that, you know, right in front of me, and I'm gonna be trying to, like, you know, capture exactly her features. So this one's kind of like, you know, more of a comic booky, loosely inspired on Scarlett Johansson Black Widow. As a concept artist, I'm doing everything digitally. So I'm painting in Photoshop. I'm thinking more about brush strokes, and just it is more of a painterly process. What I'm doing here on this demo is more along the lines of what I used to do when I drew comic books, where it's more dependent on line. But normally in my job, I'm thinking more about form, shape, color. So it's a little different process what I do at Marvel Studios versus what I'm doing here right now. But it is essentially the same kind of thinking, because at the end of the day, painting is drawing and drawing is painting. So it's just a little bit of a different angle of approach. So on this one, I'm just trying to figure out her costume. In this specific one, I'm doing more of well, it wasn't her first appearance, but her first Avengers appearance. So in the very first Avengers film, with her short hair, that's the version that I'm going to be doing today. She's an interesting character because, you know, I think her look, her costume has been fairly consistent. I think it's one of those, like, if it's not broke kind of situations. So she does have that more of a tactical black suit that she wears. So it's remained fairly consistent throughout the films, and it's you know, as in my job, I'm there to serve the director and the producers. So on all the films, they, you know, pretty much wanted to keep her in that kind of look. I think, you know, it is her iconic look with the black suit. Usually she has the red hair, except for in Infinity War. A lot of times early on when we start these films, when we're designing, there's not necessarily a script per se. Sometimes there is, but a lot of times it's just like in initial conversations with the director or the producers, whether it's like Joss Whedon, the Russo brothers, and they would let us know like the direction that they're kind of going for with the character. So for example, like in Infinity War, you know, she was more, you know, in hiding because of the results of Civil War. So that's why, you know, she has the blonde hair. Usually when I'm drawing a female character, you don't want to put too many lines on their face, especially. It is a lot more delicate than when I draw a male face. So every line has a lot of meaning. So I want to be very careful and just really make decisions how I want to, which lines I want to put down on the paper. And I started using these kind of brush pens. This one in particular is the Kuretake Japanese brush pen. I've also used like the Pentel brush pen, and I really love using these things. I went to art school and I learned how to paint, and I really love just traditional media and just the feel of the happy accidents, the imperfections that come when I use brushes that consist of hairs. Yeah, I prefer kind of like working that way rather than like everything being completely always so tight and well defined. I like there to be a little bit of a life to the drawing. This kind of drawing requires a lot more concentration because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to draw semi-realistically, so that's why my lines are very careful, because I know if I draw a line a little bit too far off to the left or to the right, then all of a sudden her chin is too small, or her eye, one eye is like above the other. So I'm constantly like looking, my eyes are going back and forth, trying to like measure, making sure this eye, is not above that eye, that this proportion. In school I did a lot of life drawing, a lot of head drawing, a lot of life painting, and a life head painting. So, thinking about construction and thinking about all those proportions are constantly going through my head. But it's all fun, doing different styles. I love doing more realistic styles. I love doing this, this is a little bit a combo of like realistic and comic book style that I used to have. I love it all, I don't like just doing one way of drawing. For me, that's this is what keeps it interesting for me. I've been fortunate that I've been able to work at Marvel Studios for so long and be able to design a lot of characters, and I work with so many like amazing artists. I mean, Charlie Wen and Ryan Meinerding, the two guys that hired me. I mean, I see them as my mentors. I learned so much from them. Everyone has their own little different style. And I've been fortunate that I've been able to design a lot of characters in the MCU throughout the years. Funny enough, like throughout my career, like I've always been, like when I used to draw comic books, somehow, it wasn't like planned or anything, but I end up drawing a lot of female characters. So I used to draw the Tomb Raider comic book for Top Cow Comics, Mark Silvestri's division of Image Comics. And I did that for about 20 issues. And just throughout my career, I've done a lot of like female characters when I was drawing comic books. And then when I got into film, it wasn't planned again, but somehow I ended up designing a lot of the characters, female characters of the MCU. And I love that. I love, just, I got to design Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, and Gamora, Nebula, Mantis, Hela, Wasp from the latest Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I got to design the upcoming look for Captain Marvel. So it's something that I take a lot of pride in, and it's something that I really enjoy. I don't know, why it happened that way, but I'm not complaining. Marvel Studios, we're going to be working on the Black Widow film soon, and I'm really excited to be able to lead the team on that film. Being full-time at Marvel and being able to work on all the films is like when we design a character, like I got to design Ant-Man on the first Ant-Man, and then from there, when he makes the next appearance, I'm able to revisit his look on Civil War and take the new story that's there and update his look, and there's a knowledge that I have of the character, the intimate knowledge that I have of him because of how I designed him in the first movie, and being able to take that and update his look, so, Black Widow's another one that I was able to do that in all the films. So, and I think I kind of mentioned it, but using this brush pen is just really fun for me because it pretty much feels like I'm painting, and I love to paint. I mean, I do that whether I do it digitally or whether I do that traditionally with a real brush. There's almost an adrenaline of like, sometimes a lot of strokes you do, you're like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna do this and let's see what it looks like. And I can't undo it. I mean, you could always white out, but I'm live right now. There's kind of have to just go for it and hope for the best. I've been out of it a little bit when it comes to like actually reading comics, but I still do follow artists, and so much of it is like Instagram and just like seeing their work online, and there's a lot of artists that are just so amazing that that inspire me every day, like artists like Olivier Coipel, Francis Lenoir. Jim Lee has always been a huge influence of mine ever since I was in like high school. Stuart Immonen, I don't even know how to say his name, Immonen, something like that. And then besides comic book artists, I'm always just looking at, fellow concept artists, and my coworkers always inspire me, as well as artists like Justin Sweet, and yeah, we're in that age where there's no shortage of inspiration out there. I always say, like, you look at Instagram, you look at like a lot of different like websites and just artists online, and there's so much inspiration that you can find online every day. And I think a lot of young artists, it causes them to freeze a little bit because they would see so much good art, and in a lot of ways it would be so intimidating that it discourages them from moving forward. I always advise those young artists, it's good to look at other arts, but there's, don't be one of those people who only look at other art. If you're looking at art more than you are drawing yourself, that's when that imbalance is there. I mean, you gotta work on your own art, even if obviously there's gonna be like way better artists than you. But the whole point and the whole philosophy I've had throughout my whole career is, of course, there's gonna be better artists than me. There's always gonna be better artists than me. But my focus should not be on, I gotta be better than that artist. My focus is always gonna be, I need to be better. I need to better myself. And as long as I'm focused on making my art better than it was yesterday or a week ago, and as long as I see that progress, that's it. That's my focus, and good things will come. And I've always had that focus throughout my whole career, and good things have come throughout my career. I'm not even sure if the shield, this is, from Avengers 1, but I'm not even sure how accurate this is, but, that doesn't matter. And we are getting close to done here. Final touches. And a lot of times I like to give a little graphic border. And the final thing that I do is my signature. And this is a signature where like, I kind of wish I could change it, but the reason why I keep this signature is because this is the same signature I've had even when I drew comics for the first 10 years of my career. Hi, I'm Andy Park, and this is Black Widow.